Wait, All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have got Dragon Tan with us, and he's not a unfamiliar name, and he's our channels, our community, a property expert that we always find the pulse on the ground. So as we go live right now, the first thing I need everybody to do is to welcome Mr. Tan. Okay, so
Okay.
thank you, Dragon, for coming in. Let's wait for people to come in first. And I got Christy come in and say hi. I don't see the rest. Uh, yes, May Wang, good to see you too. Okay, and today we are going to talk about the topic of HDB prices. Why is it falling so badly? Why is it falling? Because a lot of people think the HDB prices will never fall, and now we didn't just have a fall; we have fall for 2 quarters. So I thought this is something that I need Dragon to confirm with us. Is this something that is happening? Like accidentally, or do you think that this is something serious? Okay, all right. So Mr. Tan sir, how have you been?
Hey, hi, Sifu. Thank you for the invitation tonight. Um, as per normal, as usual, but not as busy as before. So this is what has happened in my workflow. Trying to balance between managing my team of 100 plus agents, monitoring what's on the ground. I have been invited on your platform for many rounds where I share how is the market sentiment since 2021, 2022, without fail. The sentiment on the ground is what's going to be reported probably 1 quarter later or 2 quarter later. So it's quite soon. So do stay on this platform if you want to hear the real time, the sentiment on the ground and what is the update.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Continue to give a thumbs up. Today we have got special guests, but more importantly is why do we get Dragon to give us the pulse on the ground? Because his pulse on the ground is very true, and more importantly, after he give the pulse on the ground, it's a signal of what's going to happen ahead of time. So I think that's very important. So what I'll do is I'll do some Q&A first to interview Dragon. And of course, right now, it's something I will give every a backdrop. Then later, I'll give everybody a chance to ask Dragon some questions. Okay? So everybody continue to give a thumbs up. So Mr. Tan, we have a news report from the government coming out. So the HDB prices have fallen by 0.3%, and this is the second time that the HDB prices have fallen for a lot since a very long while ago. I can't really remember how long ago. I think it was like I think pre-COVID days or something, or COVID days,
Last six
and
to
this is quite concerning because there's a lot of people that believe that HDB prices will never fall. Now, to be fair, 0.3% is quite a small fall, but this is the second quarter is falling. And I think before we all get the wrong signal, I think it's important for all of us to hear from you, who is on the ground right now, to give us what's happening on the ground, because you actually gave warning 6 months ago already, okay?
in fact,
And tell
that's
us that,
yeah, last year.
yeah,
I
you
was
told us last year that this is coming, and now it is here, okay? So you are Chun, right? And the best part is you give us a far ahead prediction. You're even better than Tom Lee in property market, okay? Tom Lee is good in a stock market, you're good in a property market. So I want to ask you right now, what's the situation on the ground that led to this fall, and what's the situation right now on the ground, and more importantly, what will happen in future, looking at where things are. Right, over to you.
all right. Good evening, everybody. If you have followed Mr. Lu's channel, his interview with me since last year. In fact, second half last year, we have predicted that the price will correct. How much is the correction? Nobody knows. But since second half last year, the HDB resale market has been relatively slower, muted, because I can see what used to be an open house one weekend with 8 to 10 groups. Probably these days you need 2 months to have 8 to 10 groups to view a single house. But it depends on area to area. If you're talking about those in the outskirts, we call it the OCR, HDB, like Choa Chu Kang, Bukit Panjang, Yishun, Woodland, places like even Sengkang, Punggol, Tampines. Depend on place to place. What used to have one open house, 20 pair of shoes outside, one weekend open house back in 2022, 2023 during the COVID time. Probably right now you don't want to have 6 to 8 groups. Probably you need 2 months to gather this number of viewers. Inquiry rate
Viewers
is
only.
yeah,
Viewers only. Yeah.
viewers. So I'm not talking about inquiries. Inquiries getting lesser, that's for sure. The number of supply, I mean the resale, is getting more. More people are selling, are putting up their listing for sales. The number of transactions is falling, probably the 5 to 10%. I think it's quite obvious in the figure. So you have more supply, less transaction. So in fact, the agents, the HDB agents who are the HDB Lao Jiao, they're feeling the heat. Wow. So I feel for them because I'm on the ground with many agents. I'm doing sales myself. I've been talking to agents. But end day, does the house get sold? Yes, definitely, it gets sold with certain strategies. Home dressing, home staging, the ambience, all this thing. Pricing has to come into the picture. Sometimes it's about pricing. Seller used to be very unrealistic. They feel that their neighbor just transact maybe 800K. My neighbor just sold 800K. I will sell 820. So it's about their own ego. Song ka bui song. So no longer can the seller have this kind of mentality expectation. They have to be realistic. Typically for a seller who has probably bought something, they have a BTO, they have an EC, they tend to be more realistic. Compared to a seller who hasn't buy anything, probably they always want a sky high price. But by all means, there's no hard and fast rule. You never know. So at a point in time where you really find something you like, you should really exit at the realistic price so that it allows you to move forward. If not, you're always dangling here and there by asking a very sky high price. Probably the market cannot support. So it depends on the area. I'm talking about this outskirt area. For town area, something like Queenstown, Redhill, Dawson, Toa Payoh, the newer flat, that is probably 5 to 10 years. Generally, the demand is still stable. It's because this area, the prime area, and then the newer BTO or the prime BTO that is released by the HDB has to fulfill that 10 years MOP, which many young buyers or the first-time buyers, they do not favor this idea, waiting 4 to 5 years for construction, 10 more years. So of course, they will turn to the resale around the area. But I understand that Kate bought something in Clementi, right? Is it prime? But Kate is young,
Yes.
so it's
Yes.
yeah.
So
She's young.
it's a BTO, yes.
So if you are young, you are like Kate, 24, 25, you have the number of youth to play along with the time. So by
年轻就是本钱。
年轻就是本钱. But if you're in your 30s already, 35 plus 15, probably you'll be 50 years old by the time that you can sell your BTO. So buyers in the market, they always weigh one thing. There's only one thing that cannot be reversed. That is your age, that's your time, your youth. So that's your precious commodities, your age. So if let's say for resale market in around prime area, I think relatively they still hold well. Places where it's really dipping are probably like Woodlands, the mass market, Yishun, the pricing are actually so-called dipping. But of course, in certain area where the prime is still hold well, so add up, we have the first quarter that 8.1%, second quarter 0.3%. So you're going to ask me for the HDB market, 0.1, 0.3, second quarter. Overall, I put it 0.4. Is it a lot? Actually, not really. Not really, Sifu. Not really. Because if you all ever check in the historical chart before, back in 2011, after, I always mention this over and over again, after the Arjunic GRC was lost. So back then, the MND, Mr. Kaur, he ramped up the BTO supply by 20K a year. So for consecutive for around 4 to 5 years. So this time around is the same thing. Definitely increased ramp up BTO supply, 20,000 over the last few years, back in 2022, 23, 24, 25, 26. Last year, 30 plus thousand, including sales of balance. So the ramp up effect seems to have taken place, but the dip is not threatening. It's 0.1. this quarter, and then the last quarter is 0.1, this quarter is 0.3. I would say the dip. Back then it was 4 to 6%. Very scary. So if let's say for consolation, you ask me how has the whole thing been, of course market is lower, but can a house be sold? Yes, it can be. With certain strategy or pricing strategy or home stressing, it still can be. And these days I noticed that buyer, whether it's HDB or condo, they tend to look for houses with minimalist theme, meaning that the less carpentry in the living hall, in the big room, they tend to favor these houses in this renovation style because it feels more inviting. It feels like it's ready to move in because they want to buy a house that is of minimalist. So probably I can suggest to some owner, probably on this channel, if your house is stuck for the last, on the Channel News Asia is reported 2 to 3 months. Actually, not really. Some houses in the market are stuck more than 6 months. Honestly, this is the
really?
honest view. Yes.
6 months.
6
But
months.
sometimes it's also the owner's fault, right? They are very unrealistic with the price. I no.
Okay, there are houses, for example, in older estates like Toa Payoh, older estates, where the lease is probably 50 plus years old. I have agent telling me that they have market the house probably left around 30 to 40 years of lease. The response right is graveyard. Graveyard.
Graveyard.
No enquiry. And when there's no enquiry, how to have viewer? So we need enquiry to have viewers.
Oh, so haven't even thought about price yet.
Yes. So this is another category of HDB. Will it be a time bomb? I don't know. Because we need to have a certain answer. What happens when these houses goes to zero? Because these houses, they are the post-independence, they are built during the 60s, 1968, 69. Certain of these houses in Toa Payoh, till date, they are around 60 years already, close to 60 years, left 30 plus years. So, but are they buyer who buy? Yes, buyer who buy because of budget. And all these houses are probably the 3-room flat in this area are probably the higher tier of 300 plus K, and yet nobody call or it's quiet. But are there buyers? Yes, there are buyer who has a certain budget. That's all. Their budget is up to 400K, so they find it more affordable for them to enter at this price range. But of course, those newer lease, easily a 3-room flat these days in Punggol, Sengkang is easily 550 to around 600K. A newly 5 years old to 10 years old, 550 to 600K versus a 60-year-old HDB 300 plus K. But
so this very interesting. Sorry to cut you. This is very interesting. This is the first time I hear on the ground because there's a lot of people who actually think that HDB prices will never fall. Forgot about economics. That means economy and whatever. But if your flat is really very old, okay, you have very little lease left, like 30, 40 years. Okay, it is going to be difficult to sell, and you don't expect yourself to continue to get good price, right?
yes, so it's cheaper and it's cheap, yet the demand is still warm. Versus where a newer probably Singapore, this of Toa Payoh is 500 plus to 600K, but because it's new. So typically, I always mention in your channel over and over again, the older ladies, they love 小鲜肉. Likewise, the old men, they love the young. It's the same thing. So everybody,
right?
Yes,
of course,
everybody loves new shirt, new car. Everything is new bag, young thing. So this is the phenomenon. Every time when anything that's new, there's always a stronger demand. That's all. So we are seeing this in the market. But of course, end day is still episode. But of course, I'm not trying to create FOMO. We've been through this before. 10 years ago, market was that quiet, but somehow or rather, the good skilled agent are managed to get through it. Typically, no house can be unsold in Singapore. End day, there's always a market because fundamentally we're still very stable. It's just about meeting the right market segment. Yes.
Correct. Yeah. I still remember 30 over years ago. I know I look at like a long time, but 30 over years ago, For those who don't know, Mr. Lu was a real estate agent. I was working in ERA, and I think I transacted about 15 houses or something like that. Okay. And I remember there was a common theme like there is no houses that cannot be sold. There's only unrealistic seller, okay, that is stopping it from being sold. Something along this line. Okay, would you agree with me?
Why would you want to be a property agent back then?
What? Why?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
those days is
Last time is
those days was 92, 93, 94. Those property boom. It's a insane boom. Yeah, insane boom. And I still remember I show a house at Hao Nam building, which I think is torn down by now. It's probably been redeveloped. It was a 700 square feet house, very old. Yeah, at one showing I've got five viewers, five group of viewers, and I'm literally like almost like like close on the spot. But a few years later, of course, 1997, Asia financial crisis came. Wow, the one was like, that's crazy. Yeah. But anyway, so back to our current situation right now. What we have is basically a situation where what you're saying is the property the because of the increase in sales of balance flat and increase in BTO, we now have a situation of supply now catching up with demand, and therefore prices become falling. And may I know right now, is this situation getting better, worse, or do you predict it to be the same for at least 3 to 6 months or even a year?
okay. The first 4 months of this year, from January after the Chinese New Year until April, the market was relatively really quiet until May. The take-up rate the buyers start to come back. We have seen more take-up rates, but however, the transaction is still probably 10%. I think lower than last year. I think year on year,
Ten percent
because
very little. I mean, 10% from last year very little.
the transaction averagely is around 20 plus thousand last year as well. So this year I still foresee we have 20 plus thousand. 10 years ago, it was so barely hit after 2014, 2015. The transaction probably is around 16 to 17,000. So that's the worst time, but the worst nightmare. The peak of HDB can be 30 plus thousand a year during the good time, the good old days. But these days is averagely around 20 plus thousand. So it's the demand is still there. Just that I think that overall, if you compare to what has happened 10 years ago during the big fall, really big fall, HDB really crashed by 20-30% 10 years ago after the HDB ramp up 20,000 flat by Mr. Call. But then the prices really fall from the peak all the way probably from 600K, what is in Sengkang Punggol 5-room flat back then. I remember it drops to around 450, as low as 430. Yes, we have seen.
Wait, you're talking about 10 years ago.
2014, I think
Yeah,
the peak.
10 years ago.
2013, the peak. 2012, 2013 was the peak. I've seen owners who bought around 600K back then for the 5-room flat. Back then we have this thing called the COV, cash over valuation, in places like Sengkang Punggol. And then within 3 to 4 years, by 2017, the house only moved around 450. It drops to 450 to. It really dropped before. It's something that I always remember. I've been through the cycle of bull. How do I identify bull? I've shared with people around me, even some of the 1M65, you all have met me. It's only when my phone calls start to explode from morning until night time, it's really a bull market. And when it really happen, just don't care, just buy. Because by the end of the year, the property price will increase by around probably 50 to 20%. It happened to me twice. One is in 2010, there was one round of bull market after the Lehman Brothers, 2009. It happened before my phone exploded, property increased by around 20% at the end of the year. The second round was during the COVID, 2022. My phone ring from morning until night non-stop. I have to charge twice. So this is a healthier sign. And these days, I don't have my ring exploding. So I'm confirmed this is not a bull market. It's a stable market. Government definitely to crash because the impact is very big. The banks are the biggest lender. It's not government. Government, of course, HDB, they lend money, all right, to the borrower who buy HDB. But the largest lender are the bank, DBS, UOB, OCBC. A lot of you, they all bought the share. Share prices go all the way up because Singapore fundamental is so good. All right. So the role of the government is to regulate the price. So this is a small bit. I think on a positive note, I think government policy really works. The scholars are really smart because the purpose of the public housing, that is HDB, is supposed to be affordable. It's supposed to be for the public. So they want to keep this affordable for the next generation to come. I think that this is perfectly fine for now. Just keep flat. So probably they just want the price to go up gradually. It'll go up definitely, but go up gradually. They don't want the price to crash as well. So this right now we are having a transition phase, which everybody will have to be patient. But definitely your house will not crash. I'll say expect the market to be flat from now, that is July, all the way until December. Even first half of next year, I'm very neutral. I'm not being positive. I think that government policy is taking effect. There'll be more BTO. There's been a so-called call for TOP next year. So a lot of flat owners are going to collect key. There'll be more resale, so-called supply in the market. We'll see the market to be very sluggish, very flat. The dip can be probably in the range 0.1 to 0.3% as well for the next quarter. I don't see anything.
I see. I would like to test a theory with you. Because of the implementation of the prime, what are the three tiers again? Standard, prime, and what's the last one?
Plus, prime, standard plus, standard.
Yeah, okay. So there are two tiers that has a waiting time of 10 years. Okay, that's a new one. So what I'm suggesting is because of this, I will imagine that in 5 years' time, there will be suddenly run low of flat coming resale flat coming out again. There is MOP because the MOP period is now extended 10 years. So yes, between now to 3-4 years, we may have a lot of supply because a lot of BTO coming out. But the resale flats that are entitled for MOP will fall in 5 years' time because suddenly because of the implementation of prime. So what do you think of this theory?
Yeah, I think you're right, Sifu. You're very spot on. This policy is so smart. The scholar and the policymaker behind all this policy is so smart. Meaning they lock this group of people for 10 years. What is originally 5 years? Because Singaporeans love to upgrade. So when they make money from their HDB, whether in prime area, in city fringe, outskirts, they tend to upgrade to condo. So these people who are supposed to upgrade on the 5th year, they are locked for another 5th year until 10 years. So there'll be this category and this group of people who are probably missing from the market from the 5th year onward. So meaning that you have less upgrader, you have less investor pouring into the market upon the 5th year, because typically it's very human thing. When they meet their first pot of gold from HDB, they want to upgrade to condo, definitely for the young upgrader. So I think if the policy is so smart, and in a way that because of this, and then at the same time, the population has to increase. The white paper has to be in place for 6.5 million to the maximum 6.9, which I don't think will be 6.9, likelihood 6.5, based on the current the current population 6.1, you'll be 6.5 probably by 2030, where population still goes up. At the same time, this group of people are away from the market, so that to allow for a gradual increase in the public housing. They don't want a mad rush for the private housing as well. Because if let's say you have freed up so many group of people in the market, everybody start buying, and construction costs, the release of private properties, it takes time as well. You need time to build the price. Rather than the price jump, probably they'll go for a gradual increase. Because fundamental is still very strong in Singapore.
Yes. All right, that's true. Okay, so now that we understand the HDB looks like it's still the demand the transactions are still not as bad, but it's just not good. So it's kind of at a stable low. So we don't expect the HDB prices to recover, and according to you, it's unlikely to recover until first quarter next year. Okay, so we got that. But what about condominiums, right? Condominiums, and later we'll talk about landed house. Condominiums, maybe you can give us your insight.
Okay, if you take a look at the China News Asia headline today, they're saying that the private home prices edged up 0.5%.
Yes.
So private home refers to condo. Private condo where it can be in the CCR, it can be in CCR, that's the city area. It can be in the outskirts, it can be in the city fringe. So right now we're going to break down. Does it mean that everywhere, so long as private property, it just go up, even including the landed? Not really, not really. It adds up together. So typically, if you're going to into very precise figure, let me share with you. For the private property, we have to divide into outskirts, city fringe, as well as the core central area. In fact, for the core central area itself, right, the private property actually so-called increased by around over here 2%. CBD area, the resale area in the core central region, the resale typically is because of quite a number of new launches in River Valley that was launched last year. They are launching on a higher PSF, as high as 3,000 plus PSF, 3,004, 3,005 PSF. So the resale is lagging. And then generally when there's a gap, there's an arbitrage between the older resale and the new launch by probably around 1,000 PSF. And then probably the buyer will take time to internalize, absorb, to go into the resale market to grab whatever they have in the market. So that's why CCR go up by 2%. That is the city, the core central region. Now, how about
So just to clarify, so you're saying that it went up largely because of new launch, right?
a lot of new launches
I see.
in the park itself, River Valley, even in area like even Holland as well. Yes, last year was so crazy everywhere. Within one day it was sold 99%, as high as 3,000 PSF, 3,002, 3,004. People are grabbing. Yeah, 80% sold within a day. You have this. A lot of them are the new Singapore citizen, or probably they just love town area. Trust me, they're always Singaporean that love town area. They like atas. People who love Porsche, they'll buy Porsche. People who love Continental car will love Continental car. But doesn't mean people who are rich have to buy Continental car, have to buy Porsche. They can buy Japanese car as well. Yeah, no hard and fast rule. But trust me, there's this group of people who go for Hermes, who go for Porsche. Definitely look good, feel good. All right. So a lot of them are the new Singaporean. A lot of them are buying for their children as well. Very scary. Yeah, we've seen that last year in the CCR area. And then of course when the new launches are selling that sky high at a new PSF 3,000 plus, so whatever is in the resale that's 2,000 plus, it looks cheap to the buyer. The price also tend to go up in the CCR. But in the RCR, it fall by 1.4%.
Quite a different story, yeah. Tale of two city.
Yes, 1.4%. And then in the outs.
Sorry, just to help everybody, can you define where is CCR, RCR, and OCR again?
Okay, I just use a simple boundary. So a boundary for the west side, east side. Okay, the east side boundary for RCR and OCR. All right, RCR and OCR is Steel Road. So Steel Road is the one that goes up all the way from Ubi that side, all the way cut down to that divide probably the D15 into Telok Kurau area, as well as Kun Seng Road, Joo Chiat area. So Joo Chiat, Kun Seng area, that's within city fringe itself. Then along Steel Road to the other side where there's Telok Kurau, there's Sikrap, is actually OCR. Interesting. Yeah, prime area, but that's where the boundary is. Now in the west side, you'll be the NUS, that West Coast Road, that divide the West Coast into the landed enclave and condo enclave. That's District 5. And then you divide West Coast Road to the other side is where, you start to have our West Coast HDB, Clementi HDB. So that's divide into RCR and OCR as well. And then the northern side, the line will just, the boundary will just draw across. It's online. You can see and study from the website itself. It draw all the way from the Upper Thomson area. Yeah, so that where it cut, and then where we're going to have a new launch upcoming probably in September. It's called the Thomson Reserve, which I quite like that project itself. Right now, I'm actually focusing Thomson Reserve. So in the north side, not the northern central side. So
Okay.
that's
So
the
what you're
boundary.
saying is that what you're saying is that the RC sorry the CCR is going
Uh,
up by 2%,
just
then
up
now
the
RCR is coming down.
down.
Why?
So why? Because of the new launches. The new launches here, the CCR are breaking around 3,000 plus PSF, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6. As high. I mean, those are on a higher range. So resale is probably selling around 2002, 2003, 2004, and then it makes them very attractive. So some buyers are comparing between PSF per square foot. So it makes them attractive. So the CCR are increasing by 2% over the last quarter. The RCR, they actually fall by 1.4%. And then interesting is the outskirt. The outskirt are actually heavily depending on the upgraders, the HDB upgraders. Because HDB upgraders, they have children, they have kids who study probably, let's say for you, Sifu, your children study in Jurong area back then. So even you're going to upgrade from EM to condo, you tend to stay in Jurong area. You don't want to move away because the daily chore of picking them and sending them to school and picking them back is a chore. So you need to be staying somewhere in where they study. So typically for the OCR, right, the prices went down as well. So that is by 0.2%. It used to increase 2.2% in the first quarter, go up by 2.2, and then second quarter it did by 0.2. Not a lot. Reason can be because of the HDB declining as well. So it's affected by the HDB declining by 0.3. So the OCR is 0.2. But interestingly, landed, we are facing this situation in the market. Anything that is 4 to 4.5 million inter-terrace freehold, I'm not talking about 99, freehold, 4 to 4.5 inter-terrace, moving very fast. And we are facing a lack of supply. But it depends on the land, it depends on the building as well. But a typical 1,700 square feet, 4 near 4.2, 4.3 can be sold within 1-2 weekend or probably 1 month. Because the upgrader from the condo, they're going to the landed. So landed overall increased 2.6%. So meaning the landed is going up in Q2, 2.6%. The CCR, where the rich people are buying, increased by 2%. It means one thing, Sifu. The rich bastard, they are buying for Q2. So a lot of rich bastard in Singapore. They are buying in the CCR area, they are buying the landed. So probably these two segments, they actually went up, but RCR and OCR actually did, yeah. Because we have the transaction for the OCR slow down as well for the condo. Because most of the OCR condominium owner, there are only two alternatives. After they sell their OCR condo, for example, my neighbors, either they go to RCR, city fringe, to buy somewhere near to the town area, so they stay in the city fringe. If not, they go and rent a HDB, all right, or rent elsewhere for 15 months because they plan to downgrade. So once the transaction for OCR slow down, so we have it free up lesser buyer to upgrade to RCR. So definitely OCR will affect the RCR as well. So when the OCR go down by 0.3%, 0.2%, because the HDB go down by 0.3%, the RCR, the upgrader, come from the OCR as well. So there's a flow. There's definitely a flow. All right. So, but then the rich bastard in Singapore, they're going for the landed, they're going for the CCR over the Q2. And that's why we see 2% increase for the landed, 2% increase for the CCR condo.
I see.
And
So
see right? The COE also increased.
Oh yeah, of course. We saw that the household income is now 30,000, and a lot of people jump. Now I want to quickly talk about resale condo. Now most of the prices that you mentioned are going up is largely because of new development, a sale of new condo, and somehow the URA index don't separate between new condo and resale condo. But on the ground, is the sale of resale condo also so expensive like a new condo, or are they also selling like hotcakes?
Okay, so I was talking about why CCR, they actually went up by 2%, the CCR condo go up by 2% because the new launch are selling much higher on PSF. So coming forward next year, we'll see a lot of new launches in the OCR and the RCR. They'll be selling as high as 3,000 PSF. Probably you'll break 3,001. And when that happens, any resale condo probably on the lower PSF, 1,007, 1,008, where there's an arbitrage. People feel that it's an I'll just term it as an arbitrage. They feel that the gap is getting higher. It will help in the resale market as well. So probably you'll be coming. Typically, when there's an arbitrage, there's a gap between the new launch and the resale in the immediate area or the vicinity. The buyer will tend to compare the PSF. So the buyer will tend to decide to buy property resale. So I see that coming for OCR as well and RCR next year. And the upcoming launches, probably Thomson Reserve, we can probably see as high as 3,000, 3,001 PSF. I'm estimating the highest PSF. Lowest maybe 2,425. Nothing has been released, but this is my estimation. 2,400 to 3,001, the range. Why 2,400? Why so low? Because lower floor, first floor. Why 3,001? Because the highest floor, 20 plus floor, seeing the reservoir view. So could be. And when that happened at 3,000, 3,001 for the RCR, which is happening right now as well, the OCR has hit 2,008, 3,000 as well. The resale will tend to have this kind of traction from the resale buyer. And not all buyers want to wait for 3 years to TOP. Some buyers, they just want immediate forward sale. They cannot afford to wait for 3 years. So as the gap go high further and further, probably we will see more interest in the resale market. And you see the resale market, whatever is deep now, you just increase back.
So what you're saying right now is that there is a price gap of probably around $1,000 per square feet between a resale condo and a new condo.
So probably a 10-year-old condo in D19, probably is right now 1,006, 1,007 PSF. The new launch, next year there will be an integrated urban coming. I foresee will be around 2,400 to 3,000. So average will be around 2,700. So if let's say we're taking the average 1,007 is 2,007, the new will be 2,007. The resale, a 10-year-old, will be around 1,007 in the same district. So when that happened, buyer who couldn't afford 2,007, 2,008 PSF, probably they go to the resale. So you help in the resale market as well.
Okay,
But
so this is
for the buyers to digest, to internalize. Then you come to the resale market. Yes.
so this is what you say by like people just like new things, right? Like
Yes.
guys like sweet young thing, and ladies like a young handsome man, and we all like new cars, new handbags. So liking new condo, it's just natural, right? So therefore, new condo will normally fetch a premium of $1,000 per square feet higher than old condo. But
But it's
that's almost $1 million difference, right?
not normal, Sifu. 10 years ago, when I bought my first EC in 2015, 10 years ago, the resale condo, a brand new resale condo, just TOP, probably the PSF and the pricing is higher than my EC. Or probably it's about the same. But over the years, because developer is so bullish, developer is bidding the land. Because once the private developer keep bidding the land higher and higher, and there's a stiff competition among the developer to bid the land, and end day with all these Iran war happening, the oil prices go construction costs will go up naturally because of the transportation for all the material to the construction site. So things go up, end up, who bear the cost? Buyer, consumer. So both in one. So eventually DBS Bank, they have an article, I think last year, October, the bank that we trust, or the one we trust, saying that by 2040, the new launch PSI will be 4,000. 4,000.
Yeah, I think it's,
I think
possible.
correct. It's correct, Sifu. You know why? Because back then in 2018, they published before, saying that the new launch will be 2008 by 2030. So back then in 2018, they have already foreseen. And being the largest lender, I think that they lend to developer to launch new to buy land, to bid for the government land sales. They know how will developer price, they know how is the market trend. So I believe that the element of true is that the accuracy is there as well.
Okay, last question before I open up for Q&A. What about rentals right now across HDB, HDB and condo?
Rental will depend on the aspects coming into work as well as the current pool of tenants who probably sold their condo or probably sold their house. They're waiting for their next place of purchase. These days we hardly see the rental that is probably 2 years lease. Back then during COVID in 2022, 2021, as well as 2022, that 6 months when our border just opened to the expats, the MNC are rehiring. We'll see houses where the expats, they actually so-called, they just pay now the deposit to the seller 2 months without viewing because the market was crazy. There's not enough houses to rent out to the expats, so the price escalated. And then eventually the rental market actually cooled down. The prices actually so-called dip as well. Right now it's very stable. But if you ask me if the response is it as hot as bullish like 2022, 2023, not really. I think it's lukewarm as well. It depends on the area. If the current property that you're putting out for lease is like in town area where the expats are, generally the response is good. If let's say it's in outskirt area, it depends whether is there any employment catchment area like industrial or business park. If it's a largely residential area with nothing around, it's in fact very quiet. It's quieter.
I see.
Definitely.
I see.
So that's why you mentioned about RTS the other day. So when RTS is open, so I don't know whether will it favor the rental market in the northern side or you'll do JB more advantage. So it's a win-win is where the Singaporean will feel they'll feel that going to JB at east and to spend like a king probably, but will it do more favor for the rental market in the north? I don't know. I have to observe and monitor.
I don't think so. Okay, very good. Okay, so maybe we open up this time for anyone who has questions. I'll do the moderation. I think there's the so someone asked, Christian asked, for young couple buying resale, would you recommend 3 to 4 room flat around 1984 to 1987 years flat?
Resale HDB. Is that resale HDB that he's referring to?
Yes, resale. Yeah. Do you recommend buying a 3 to 4 resale flat around 1984 to 87? So that's easily 40 years really.
Okay. So Christian, very simple. You have to know how
Chris
much.
Tan, sorry, Chris Tan. Yeah, Chris Tan.
Right? So Chris, thank you for the question. So I've been through your phrase. So my first HDB was a 20 plus years old HDB beside my parents' block. My parents were staying in 204. I'm staying at 202. So it was a 20 plus year old HDB. Back then, I supposed to go for a condo called Double Bay, launched in 2009. I think it's 2009, yes, around that, 09. Should I go for Double Bay back then? It's a 2-bedroom, 600 plus K. Upon the 5th year, I should have sold around close to 1 million. Around 1 million. That's a 300 to 400K. But because I bought a 20 plus years old, close to 30 years old HDB there, I still made But the margin I bought around I think 380, so around 450 to 460. I think I paid around 80,000. Because of why? Because of when you buy something old, the demand you have to bear that in mind. The future exit plans where the demand may be lukewarm because I mentioned already, Sifu mentioned everybody loves new thing. Yeah. So I love the new look of Sifu compared to 6 years ago when I met him. Wow, totally different now. Everybody loves refreshing look, refreshing feel.
Thank
So if you're buying for own stay, you want to start a family, then it depends on your circumstances. If given that you are able to tap into government grant, so for consolidation, government give you grant, just tap on it because you need that. And then you also don't want to overstretch the budget. And then maybe you want to start to settle down a family. I can tell you it's very xiong because we've been through that. When you get married, right? Wow, 装修一笔钱 for the house. For resale, you need to spend money on renovation. And then when the wedding come, right, you get very stressful one. The guys will talk among ourselves. Yeah, spend a lot of money. Very stressful. So don't make it too stressful for yourself. Do what is within your budget. No need to be very lavish. Ignore what's on social media because actually your life is good, our life is good. But sometimes when we scroll too much on the social media, spend too much time, you get miserable. Actually, your life is good, our life is good. All right. So do what is within comfortability because we've been through
Okay.
that.
Okay, let's answer a bit faster because we're very late already. There are a couple more questions. Mr. Tan, this person's plan is to get a two-room BTO flexi, sell after the MOP, which is in N32032, upgrade to a four-room resale, both outskirts and north area. Should I jump straight into resale now instead? When bottom?
Okay, I need to get it right. You have gotten a two-room flexi or you haven't gotten yet? If you have
Glenn,
gotten a haven't,
haven't.
okay, haven't. So it depends on your age now. Your age now. If you a two-room flexi probably the single probably go for a two-room flexi. Uh, so the plan is to go for a two-room flexi, is it? And then after that go for a four-room BTO. Okay, so
Four-room resale.
four-room resale. Okay, I got you. Maybe you're single, above 35. You want to try for two-room flexi, but you need to see how lucky you are to get a two-room flexi first. That's one thing. Of course, 会赚钱 嘛. So far, I think there's no such system, right? Like BTO, right, in the whole world, right, that helps Singaporeans to build wealth. Singapore is the only country so far. I haven't
Yes.
seen other
It,
countries
it
overseas
really helps to build wealth. Yeah.
to build wealth. If you follow the government policy nicely, you go for two BTO. I think as a family couple, they have two BTO. They should be able to build a wealth of 1 million. I have seen my uncles who are Grab driver, who is another uncle who is a cook. They follow the government BTO. So right now they are still holding on to the Bedok Central, two four-room flat there, which is around 10 plus years, easily 1 million already, all fully paid back then, 60s and 50s. So long you got follow government policy, yes, you're able to build wealth. Just ignore the noise. So if let's say you're single, two-room flexi is good enough for you, go for it. The reason why you want to go for four-room flat, unless you think that you need a bigger space, you need to have a family, by all means. If you think they can
Okay.
afford, I still think that if you think that you can afford, and then you think that you have too much money, you don't want to put in stock market, you can go for a private condo. Yes.
Okay. So another person, a first-time buyer with high income, would you recommend EC?
Okay, EC will be a death sentence based on last round. It's going to be a death sentence. So the last train to catch is either the one at Pasir Ris, Costa Cabana, opposite downtown east, starting fast as well. If not, the next one will be Woodlands South, over near to the MRT and near to Woodlands General Hospital. So other than that, this is my few favorite. Other than that, I think that EC is likely going to be a death sentence. 不好玩了 because it's going to be a 10 years MOP.
Okay. Very
That's for
good.
life.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. If we are looking to buy next year, should we look into resale condo or look for just TOP condo? How do you
Looking to
advise
buy,
someone?
I need to buy
O,
next year.
O condo or condo that just TOP?
Oh, okay. There's nothing wrong to buy old condo. If the old condo give you the space for your family, go for it. Just like old condo, right? 现在装修很贵 ，renovation is not cheap anymore. To revamp the whole house easily 100 plus 200K. So you have to prepare this amount of money. You add up
Sorry,
to
even HDB renovation is 100K, I think.
expensive. So if you add up together and then you divide by the lease, and you just top up. Do a simple math, you just top up to 99 years. So if the price is about that of a new condo Resale or TOP condo that's about TOP, go for the newer TOP condo. Just like newer TOP condo, the space is not as big as old condo. No choice. But the demand is still there, no matter what.
Okay.
All right.
So Erwin asked, where do we track resale rental price transaction by area?
Resale rental price transaction by area. HDB has a website to track the rental price for the HDB transaction, 4-room, 3-room, or 5-room. For private condo, it's in the URA website as well. But if you want to have unique number pertaining to that particular project, that condominium, you need to pay for a subscribe app, which only the property agents they're subscribing. But of course, not all agents are subscribing because we need to pay money every year.
What is the app called?
I subscribe this app, which I pay for I think $500-600, called the So Real. So Real, SOREAL, So Real. Yeah, or
Okay.
yes.
Right.
So it gives
Most
you
of us don't know lah.
the unit number, the neighbor who sold, as well as people who rent.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. What's your opinion of buying 99 years landed house, especially those with a balance of 55 years?
99 years landed versus
Yeah.
50.
No. That means he buy. In short, he buy a landed house of
Okay,
55 years left.
55 years left. Okay. Wow.
看价格啦。
The
It's
price,
very
the
cheap,
price,
right?
price very cheap price very cheap So if you want to buy for lifestyle 我曾经住过 landed go for it but 想过嘞 depend on the price 这样的话我会跟 Mr. Lu 一样做邻居 I buy in GB. That was my idea, I sidetracked a bit That time my idea was that, hey, I may as well go and be your neighbor. I buy a house there. I got MM2H, right? I buy a Malaysia car, Alphard. But then I cannot drive my Malaysia car, right? Alphard, right? In Singapore, right? So I will employ, right? Hire a driver from Malaysia. Every day, right? He'll drive the motorbike across the causeway. My car just park here. And then he'll pick me up to pick all my customer for viewing. So that was my thinking. So because after 10 years later, my house is still in JB, my car is still around. Just that if let's say after 10, 20 years later, the landed 55-year-old, no doubt you stay there, but because it's like 45 or 35 years, wow, your buyer may end up, right, they need to use full cash to pay. So it's about your exit strategy later on. How are you going to exit from the house 10, 20 years later? Yeah, so you're going to have a difficulty doing that.
Okay, thank you. Why do some resale condo have more capital appreciation than others? What are the things that will help to decide?
Okay, today I just give you one of the framework. I have a lot of framework. One of the basic framework to identify good condo. Follow these 3 framework. All right. Is it that it's not lagging? Okay, number 1 framework, M followed by S, followed by G. MSG. Okay, MSG is 味精, Bijing, Ajinomoto.
Bijing, yeah, I also say it's Bijing. Yes.
Very simple to remember. What is MRT? As well as mega projects. Certain project that is mega, probably more than 500 units, more than 1,000 units. Okay, as well as near MRT. Number 2, what is the school? It cannot be good school. It has to be top school. Proven already. Anything within 1 kilometer to top school, not good school. There are many good schools. Of course, every school is good, but I have opinion. I just be frank here. There are really school that's top or top school.
Of course.
Singapore, Singapore parents, I don't know the mind here, I don't know why They just want to go to top school. Yeah, they feel that top school is everything. But I don't think it's everything because I'm not from top school. I'm from
not
good
from
school. But I work very hard. Until now, I still work very hard. So doesn't mean that you go to top school, you're everything. You still have to work hard. Mr. Lu is working hard. I'm working hard also. So top school, effect. Number 3, government land sales. 1, 2, 3. If you buy something that is of the lower government land sales within the RCR or government land sales among how the project is in the OCR or CCR, typically you are very safe. So I go according to the simple framework. You know, you need to have MRT, mega projects, you need to go for a top school effect, as well as government land sales. So long these three are fulfilled, I think that you are very, very safe. So we're always comparing figure.
Okay. So at 55 years, if you are years old, if you have a chance to buy a BTO at a prime area, knowing that you'll be locked up for 10 years, and then you got to take many years to build also, would you recommend get a BTO or buy HDB resale or condo resale?
55 years old, correct?
Yeah.
You mentioned about 55. So have I ever visualized when I'm 55 years old, I think that I have done almost everything I need to do in my life. I will want to enjoy my life. I want convenience. So if let's say the prime area that I really go for it is really in the prime area, I have the amenities accessible to me. I don't mind because probably, but this will be my end game. Because having said that, I need to wait for around maybe the 10 years MOP, few years to construct. I'll be around 68 to 70 years old. This is end game. But when I end game, I also will appreciate if I stay close near to a hospital because we have to be honest here. When you're old, you have a lot of medical appointment. So I want convenience. So I'm very realistic. I'm very practical. Amenities when you're of certain age. Yes.
I see. Okay. All right. Okay. So someone asked me when am I going to eat durian. Oh, by the way, I just found where I got my durian. It's in Bukit Batok. I'll show you guys in a video maybe tomorrow or so. Okay. Yes. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. Okay. Mr. Tan. Okay. Wait. Sorry. Okay, wait, I'm trying. Yeah, Dragon's a bit lagging. Okay, but anyway, we're going to finish soon. Okay, wait. Can you share your 2027 to 2030 outlook, whether HDB resale flat and condos are likely to provide better returns? Which of them? HDB or resale? Sorry, HDB resale or private condo? Which one will provide higher return?
My take will be the resale. It seems like don't quote me. I think you quote me, I can quote me. This is my own opinion. Eventually, right, the private market will be a free market, that's all. The HDB is meant to be affordable public housing. 拿来住的，不是拿来炒的。Private probably might have measures, just about tweak here and there. So probably right now, I think the only measure that helped in my mind till now is that I just wonder when is the government to tweak that 15-month ruling for the private property owner to buy HDB. So if let's say that is being so-called freed up, it will definitely help in the HDB market as well. That's probably right now very slow, but we don't know when. Although it did mention that borrowing and it's a temporary measure for a long, long time already.
Wow. Okay. Can you explain why government land sales is so important? Just now your MSG beating.
Oh, okay. It's about comparing the government land sales because once you know how much the developer bidded for the land, you will be able to forecast how much they're going to sell the private new launch as well. The launches. I'm talking about new launches. So of course within one outlet OCR, within one RCR, and within one CCR, we have different land bid across, and it's for you to compare. So that from there you're able, and whatever the government released the land today, and a developer bid the land, the tender result is out. It will not be launched now. It will be launched around 1 year later. So from there we are able to forecast what is likelihood the price that's going to be selling 1 year later. From there we know how is the market heading on.
Okay, last two questions. I have a 10-year-old condo, I think, in District 19. I'm 50 years old now. Do you think I should downgrade to HDB or change to a resale condo?
Change to a resale condo. Okay, you're 50 years old. Actually, 50 years old, still very young. You're just a few years older than me. All right. So the only reason why you want to downgrade to the HDB is because you want to free up, you want to put stop to your, maybe you are having a very hectic and a stressful job or business. You want to slow down. If let's say that is the case, probably you can go to HDB. But at 50 years old, I don't think you still have to stick to the 50-month rule. But if you think that you still have the energy and vibrancy to fight for, to chop for another 5 to 10 years, probably you can re-explore your alternative. Go for condo first, because I think the population is still increasing to all the way to 2030. The private market should be relatively still stable. Yeah, and fundamental is still.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. There's a last one. Okay. Last one question from Nuance. Sorry, Nance's, is it? Marine Parade is an older estate. Do you think I should consider selling it before the estate get even older, or would it be better to continue holding on to it?
Okay, so recently there was this lady. She was from 1M65 as well. She came to me asking me whether she want to buy a Marine Parade, a 3-room flat. So and they right, she went to buy a 3-room flat in Punggol, yeah, Punggol North Shore, which I think that I'm very happy with the, because I still see vibrancy in Punggol itself. It's a new town, newer estates, many young people. There's a business park there, the Punggol Coast MRT, the Punggol Coast, Punggol Digital District, the business park, the IT hub. We still have a university, SIT. So, and then Punggol being so new, is around 5-year-old, 6-year-old HDB. Compared to Marine Parade, it's in the 60s and 70s basically. I'm very worried about her exit strategy. And of course, when I know that when she told me that, informed me that she bought something in Punggol, I feel so happy for her. I feel that that's more like, politically, that's more like a right move for her.
Very
Of
good.
course,
Okay.
Marine Parade because of East Coast Beach, but you need to plan for an exit strategy as well. Should one day, unless you want to stay all the way until the last day. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So we're come to the end, and again, everybody, some people like to contact Dragon for to get more opinion, ideas, and more importantly, get his services. Now he has got army of people working with him. So please do not contact me. Okay, the contact number is there for him, and so please go and reach out to him directly. I do not collect any commission. Okay, yeah, just don't need to tell, you don't even need to tell him that you're from the 165 community. So just make sure that you get the best, first of all, some professional advice from him. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Tan, for coming to our channel, and I think it's always a very good to have the pulse of the market, and we definitely have to come back again whenever there are surprising news, like now, the current property market, and you always give us the right prediction of what's going to happen. Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, thank you,
Always,
everybody.
always for you to come
Okay,
back.
thank you, thank you. Okay, good night, everybody. Good night. Good night.
Everybody,
Okay,
good night. Okay, bye
bye
bye.
bye.